Okay, the paper has dried now, and we're going to work in this mini lesson on these fence posts and then working in some of the grasses around there. And it's really going to cause this painting to pop for you. I'm just taking a little bit of brown. You might mix a little bit of blue with it just to kind of gray it down a little bit. And we've got fence posts out here, and we're just going to cut them in to begin with a dry brush. This is dry brush. Just cutting these fence posts in, trying to make them as straight as we can. And I can barely see my fence post in the through the drawing. I'm not worried about shadow. I'm gonna create some edges on them later. I'm just blocking them in so that you can see what I'm doing here. All right. And I'm cutting into the snowbank a little bit. It's not just at the edge of the road, because these fence posts aren't in the on the road. They're actually off to the side of the road, and so I want to demonstrate that by pulling this paint down into that snowbank just a little bit. Again, we will work on creating light on that in just a minute. But I'm cutting these posts in. Having trouble seeing my lines here now. I think there's one right there and right here. Now I'm able to see them. Now I'm left-handed, so I got to deal with this side. You're right-handed, and you may have to do it in a little bit different order, but all I'm doing is making sure I don't put my hand down in the middle of wet paint and create a stamp of a part of my hand. I want that to be in the snow, so I'm going to stop it right there. Might even round that edge a little bit. You know, not and if my fence post gets a little wider, and that one did, I can try to lift it out a little bit with with a dry brush, excuse me, or a damp brush. Don't want to do it too much because I'll smudge it. All right, but at least you're beginning to see the elements of a fence post, or fence row rather, right here. There's a fence top right here in my drawing. Put that there. Now these fence posts have snow on the top of them, and we haven't even talked about different ways of creating that. I didn't do that on this painting. I could have taken that wax candle and tried to carefully cut in the top there that would not accept pigment, but I'm going to show you another way with this particular painting, and maybe we'll do that on another day. You're trying to use the candle wax. All right, this fence post is a little bit wider than I wanted. I wet my brush. Let's get this good and wet. Then I go in with a dry brush as best I can and clean that back out. Don't want to do it too much because I'm already going to smudge some brown. Now light is coming from this way, so we want to create that on the fence post, and we can do it two ways. Number one, we can darken up this one side with a little bit more of a blue and brown color, so that we're indicating there's the shadow side of the post. And then we're going to do something to the light side in just a minute. And I'm just putting a line down there like that. All right, good enough. Now on the other side, this is where we're going to lift out. That's the technique we're going to talk about. That's the one where I know you can see the post in the painting. I'm going to wet that left side, dry my brush with a Kleenex. I'm keeping a Kleenex in the other hand. Let me do it up here where you can see this. I wet it like this, dry my brush, and then lift out some paint. And you can see I'm starting to put the light side on that fence post. Get it wet, dry my brush, and let the brush pull some of that pigment back out. And do you see how that is beginning to create the light side, the sunny side, if you will, of that post. And that makes that post pop into 3 dimensions. I'm over here. There we go. When my brush goes out of view, just know that I'm wiping it on that Kleenex that I happen to have in my palm of my hand, of my other hand. And I'm pulling that out. All right. That doesn't have to be, I don't have to do too much of this, just enough to make you feel like this post is rounded. And that's what it really is doing. I have a darker side, a medium color in the middle, and then a light edge. And now that post looks like it is really a round post and not just a flat brown line. Now at this point we can take this other brush that we were using, that we've created on our own, and to taste for you, mix a little bit of brown, maybe a little bit of blue. You know, this is, I can't tell you exactly how to mix this color. It's kind of a brownish gray green, I suppose. And I can try it on your paper first so that you know you're getting nice soft edges. And now I'm really going to go around on this road, and I crisscross them. I'm going to go all up that road, and especially around the fence posts. I might make little larger brush strokes. Notice I'm going back and forth. Sometimes my colors will be, I might put in the lighter colors first and then come back with some darker colors. But as I use this brush and come up against that fence post, boy, it's really, not here, this is too high, but it is really starting to show. Now I got to be careful. As I go down the road, my grasses are going to appear smaller, so I've got to use an edge of that brush to make that happen. I like putting these little trailers up onto the grass too. Okay. And little clumps. Sometimes I'll do it like that. I have little clumps, taller pieces of grassy area. I don't know how well you can see this, but I'm coming down into the corner now because I want to anchor that corner with a really nice clump of grass. And I'm doing that because on your edges of your painting, you'll find that if you can have some darker areas, it'll force your eye back into the painting. And this is a technique not only artists use, but photographers use as well. Okay, you can continue doing this to taste. I'm going to come up here and now put some grass up on this hill near that barn. I'm not going to do the whole video clip of wherever place I put the grass. I'll do this off of the tape as well, but this is what I want you to work on. Don't forget, you got this nice edge here. Make sure that your brush is giving you some nice lines and not big clumps of paint. And you're going to come all around those fence posts there and right on that edge. And now you see we put that shadow area in on the edge of the road, and as we build that grass up around those fence posts, boy, it really looks nice. And we are, now that those fence posts are up in the snow, having this grass stick out on the edge of this road really helps to define that road more. Got to be smaller strokes as you go around the corner. Might have to tip your brush a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to let you finish up where you want to put your grasses, and then we will finish this painting by talking about how we're going to work on those pieces of log. So at this point, you put in your grassy fields to taste, and when we come back, we'll finish the painting right here.